Hi, it's me again. I've talked about it a couple of times on this channel. The redevelopment of the tea factory in Digbeth that the BBC are doing. For a reason I don't fully understand, BBC Birmingham Tea Factory construction starts on Landmark New HQ. This is from the BBC. That's what it's going to look like. It's the old, is it the Thai Food Tea Factory? They're taking on, and it's massive. And I couldn't find out how much they're spending on this needlessly. I don't understand why the BBC need any. I mean, let's face it, their main headquarters, their main broadcasting house is just off Regent Street. Some of the most expensive land and buildings and office space you could have in the entire country. Why? And then they've got facilities all over the country, which is lovely, but why have the big one in London again? And why do you need this? You've just sold off some, and now you're doing this. And Birmingham Council is spending millions. They have donated in millions. If I was a taxpayer in Birmingham, I would be fuming about the amount of money that my council tax has spent at the BBC. But anyway, the point of it is I never found out how much this is costing the BBC in your TV, hopefully not yours, your TV licence fees. Well, I stumbled across this today in Insider Media, which is a trade paper for telly stuff. BBC to add more than £280 million to the West Midlands economy and create hundreds of jobs, a report. £280 million into the economy. Does that not sound like what it might cost to convert the tea factory into a state-of-the-art broadcasting facility and studios to you? I reckon that £280 million is what it's costing. And quite a lot of that, as we talked about, another video, I'll try and put a link to it below, about how much Birmingham Birmingham City Council are paying towards this. In fact, I'll try and find it. Hold on. Birmingham City Council is set to borrow £14.3 million to fund the development of the tea factory. So if you're a council taxpayer in Birmingham, £14.3 million from the council is going directly to the BBC. How does that make you feel? Because if I lived there, I'd be raging about it. Right, back to Insider Media. The BBC's investment in Digbeth and the wider West Midlands is set to bring in more than £280 million to the economy and create hundreds of jobs over the next decade, according to a new report. The investment study done by BOP Consulting in partnership with City Ready noted that the investment will bring in a $282 million in gross value added to the region in the decade to 2031, a 44% increase on what otherwise would have been the case. But if Birmingham City Council had used its £14 million investment to do something else with the Digbeth Tea Factory that didn't benefit the BBC, could that have brought in the same amount of money or more, depending on what they did? Well, the answer is yes. The answer is obviously yes. But the BBC benefiting from this. The BBC's renewed commitment to the region is estimated to generate 910 additional full-time equivalent jobs. 910. What happened to these cuts then at the BBC? They're cutting all these staff from local radio. They're cutting all this staff from news production. They're cutting all these staff across the entire BBC. And you're going to take on another 910 full-time employees. And the BBC pays fair money, don't forget. 910 full-time employees. For what? You don't have them now. So you obviously don't need them, BBC. The way the BBC's run and the way they spend money is the most confusing thing in the world. I'm trying to put a video together where I make sense of the BBC itself that you pay your license fee to, and their corporate businesses that they have on the side that trade under the name the BBC. They don't make it that easy to fully understand it. So I'm going to try and get a video put together to go through that, because the BBC is quite profitable commercially. They don't necessarily need your £169.50 a year, especially when they're doing ridiculous stuff like this. Didn't they just sell off? They sold off the old EastEnders set after paying 80 million for a new EastEnders set. Now they're spending what will be hundreds of millions on this and employing another 900. It's good that they're employing another 910 staff in that area. Wonderful. It's good for the area. But it just seems to not make any sense to me. Tim Davie, BBC Director General, said, "This report highlights the scale of the opportunity for both the BBC and the region in the years ahead. We believe in making world-class content from Digbeth, putting the people and the place at the epicentre of the creative industries while reflecting their stories." He'll still be based out of the city, though. He won't be going to Birmingham very often. Even though he says nice things about it like this, he doesn't care. He's going to stay. He's going to stay in London. Now, the research added that the BBC's increased investment in the region has already helped grow the West Midlands creative sector. Okay, wonderful. That's good that the West Midlands has a bustling creative centre. Birmingham is now the second largest UK hub for the Banijay Group, with Shine and Kuda. This is a trade paper, remember, but there's a bit here, look. Spun Gold has produced Policing Paradise and are now making Series 11 of Guard and Rescue for the BBC from its base in Digbeth. Make sense of that then, because they're going to make Guard and Rescue. They're going to use the studios and the facilities of the new Digbeth place when it opens up to make shows for the BBC. Sounds like a bit of a shell game to me. You pay the BBC £169.50. They give that or pay some of that to a production company to make TV shows to show on the BBC. A lot of the time, BBC Studios owns that production company, and that production company will rent facilities from the BBC in order to sell the show back to the BBC. I don't know if BBC Studios owns Spun Gold. I am going to find out. I'm heading down a rabbit hole here that I haven't got time to. I'm looking at Spun Gold TV Limited on Companies House. And you hit people, there's only one person on it. But that one person is director of a lot of broadcasting or TV production companies. And I haven't got time now to go through them all to find the connections to because I like doing that. If you go to like BBC Studios Limited on Companies House and you click people and you follow through, and that will lead you to how many companies the BBC have all trading under the BBC name. So yeah, I'll leave that there. But it seems like a bit of a shell game. I don't understand why Birmingham City Council's giving all that money to the BBC. They get enough money. Like, it's nearly £5 billion a year from TV licence fees. They can afford it, Birmingham City Council. You didn't need to give them any money. And I don't understand why they need it. Now, what do you think about this? Let me know your thoughts about it down in the comments below. I am going to try and put together a video soon about the BBC and all its commercial companies and how you can separate them and how much money they could make if they didn't need the licence fee. That is coming. Hopefully I'll put that together this weekend, so keep an eye out next week for that, possibly, if not the weekend after. And yeah, while you're down there leaving your comment, hit all the buttons and everything as well. If you do all that, hopefully I'll get to see you in another video again soon, won't I? Ta-da.